Hi everyone. Believe it or not, I've been trying to get this video out for a few days, but one thing after another keeps happening. I'm trying to get my iPad set up so that it's not so wobbly because I just decided what I wanted to talk to you about is the Kohberger's motion to change venue. And I thought I would just go ahead and read it to you. I pulled it up I have it on my phone, and I'll leave the actual link below on how to find this, which actually this website has got every single piece of paper that's been filed. It starts with the affidavit to arrest him, and then the number 2 item is the probable cause affidavit, and every single thing that's gone through the court is listed on there. You can pull it up and read it. There's quite a bit that's been redacted at the request of the defense, and I'm really curious about a lot of that, but we'll see. Anyway, the motion to change the venue, we knew it was coming. In May, the defense team put out a survey. If you remember, there were 15 or so questions, and they called 400 residents of Latah County, and the questions that they asked were not factual. They weren't evidence, but they kind of put it out in the community. The stalking question, you know, it was always there was a question of if he was stalking one of the girls, because there's just absolutely no motive on this for these 4 young people to be slaughtered the way they were. And we can't forget the beautiful Maddie Mogen, Kaylie Goncalves, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle, and their families. I think about them every day, and I really want Kohberger to have a fair trial. I want him to have every opportunity, because that's the only way to get real justice for these young people. I don't want any shortcuts. I don't want, if he's responsible for it, I want him to be held responsible. If he's not, then he's not. But I don't want him to be responsible and then to be let off on a technicality, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so this memorandum for a change of venue, it's 13 pages long. And the thing that just kind of makes my ass twitch, it says that Brian Kohberger's constitutional right to a fair trial was being kept from him starting November 13th, 2022, because the Moscow Police Department had the nerve to announce that these 4 young people were basically murdered in their sleep. Like, how dare they? You know, they didn't, he wasn't named, nobody knew who did it. I remember when that happened, specifically, as I've said before, both of my daughters are graduates at the University of Idaho, and I really, to tell you the truth, I don't know what I would have done if one of my kids was a student up there at the time. But when they were going to school up there, I wasn't up there that much. When my daughter would move, and you know, when she first went in the dorm, her dad and I moved her in that first day, and I went up maybe a couple of times. Then she moved into another part of the student housing where they actually had like a little living room and kitchen type area. It wasn't really kitchen, but they had a microwave and they could cook, and that there was place for a small refrigerator so they could have like cereal and beer and all the necessities that you need a refrigerator for. But and then my daughter lived at one point. She had a really cute apartment that was on Main Street, and I did go see that. But really, and then when her and her boyfriend moved in together, so I really wasn't, even though it was so close, and my daughter and I were very close. To me, I felt very close to her, but she was, you know, she was starting her own life, so I didn't spend a lot of time up there, but I do remember when this happened. And okay, let's get back to the motion to change venue. So, what they say is Mr. Kohberger is protected under the Constitution of the United States and the state of Idaho. An impartial jury cannot be found in Latah County because of the extensive publicity that is ongoing and inflammatory. The inflammatory nature of the publicity has included inaccurate information and inadmissible information. The publicity has been extremely pervasive in the small community of Latah County. Issues. Number one, Kohberger cannot receive a fair trial in Latah County as protected by his rights under both the U.S. Constitution and Idaho Constitution because of the pervasive, inflammatory, often inaccurate, and highly prejudicial publicity and the small size of the jury venue. It's a French word. A change of venue is necessary under Idaho Criminal Code 21 and Code 19-1801. And I say to that particular paragraph and those two issues that are listed in this motion, that information came from the defense team. The defense are the ones that put the inaccurate information, and the information that would be inadmissible at trial came directly from the defense team. Then they do an abbreviated factual background, and they talk about the media coverage and how the local news, it was covered on the local news, which Spokane, Washington is about 80 miles north of Moscow, and Spokane's a fairly large city, and there is a NBC TV station, ABC, and the CBS TV, and I believe a PBS TV station, and all the news people from there were in Moscow, along with people from Good Morning America, the Today Show. Nancy Grace was there, and yeah, people, it was shocking news. There was no apparent motive for these 4 young people to be done like that. It's just, it was kind of crazy. And anyway, they talk about the media coverage, and the daily updates were given out by the Moscow Police Department, and they even go so far as to attach each of the daily updates that were given by the Moscow Police Department up until the day Kohberger was arrested, and that starting November 12th, going into the 13th, 2022, up until the day he was arrested, because the Moscow Police Department was having daily press conferences and updating the public, that has violated Kohberger's rights. And I just think that's a bunch of baloney. Then they said that they talked about all the news people, like I said, crime TV shows, the current medium of information and opinion sharing, the internet, immediately and consistently was abuzz with podcast tweets, Facebook groups, Reddit, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram postings. And once the police arrested Mr. Kohberger, the public was ready to and has proceeded to vilify him without regard to the constitutional guarantee of the presumption of innocence and the right to an impartial jury and a fair trial. And I kind of take offense at that, because I think I've been very careful about saying, I've said it over and over, and I mean it when I say it. I want Kohberger to have a fair trial. I want people on that jury to be able to have connected brain cells and to be able to look at all the evidence and put it together, and at the end of the trial to not have a doubt about who committed this crime. And if it wasn't Kohberger, then there should be no doubt that it was not him. And I'm dead serious when I say that. I afford him the presumption of innocence. I expect the state and the prosecutors to prove their case. I really do. I mean that, and I don't know. I'm sure there's some people that just think in black and white and that he's guilty or not. And I get a lot of comments about people that think he's 1,000% innocent. And I've really enjoyed those comments, and some of them I agree with, some of them I don't. But I've learned a lot, and there's been times when, because of a comment somebody's left me, I'll go and look on my Google machine and see what I can find. But yes, there was a lot of media interest in this story because it was just out of the blue. Those 4 kids were just killed, just like so fast and so awful, and like no motive. It's almost like somebody was trying to commit the perfect crime where, that it could never be solved. And I also remember there was a prevailing attitude, Nancy Grace, there was another lady, I can't think of her name now, she's on one of the crime shows, and they were talking about, is Moscow Police Department, are they big enough to handle this kind of investigation? And the Idaho State Police came in with their investigative unit. The FBI eventually came in to help out. And I was insulted by all that, because yes, we live in Idaho, but we're not completely stupid. And I just think the Moscow Police Department did a great job. I felt really bad for the families, I still do. And that Kaylie Goncalves' father was, he was on the news a lot, and he was, I don't know that, I just think he was really frustrated and wanted answers. I think he's still that way. And I wish there was some way that the law enforcement and the prosecutors can meet with the victims' families and give them more information, but then you just don't know what what's going to happen with that information. So I kind of get it, but I just wish that there was more information for everybody on this. But anyway, it goes through and it talks about, like I said, it's 13 pages. There's a lot of talk about the psychology of a small, tight-knit community, how everybody's gonna know everybody, and it won't be long before everybody will know who's on the jury. And because it is such a tight-knit community, that the people on the jury are going to feel compelled to come in with a guilty verdict because of the victims and their families being from that county. And again, I've said this before, I think I've said it in every video, it's a mistake to move this out of Latah County. None of the victims are from Latah County. Ethan Chapin is from Washington. Kaylie Goncalves lives in Rathdrum, Idaho, which is, I don't know what county, it might be Bonners County, it's north of here. Maddie Mogen was from, or maybe Maddie's from Rathdrum and Kaylie's from Coeur d'Alene, and Xana Kernodle's from Post Falls, Idaho, and Post Falls is very close to Coeur d'Alene, so her family might be in Kootenai County. I'm not sure, but Latah County, there are no, those kids, none of the victims grew up in Latah County. None of their parents grew up in Latah County that I know of. The only thing is they went to school at the University of Idaho in Latah County. And for this change of venue to go through, it's entirely at the judge's discretion. And if he does decide to allow this motion, then it goes to a it goes to a panel at the Supreme Court of Idaho. I don't believe it goes to the justices of the Supreme Court, but there's a panel. It sounds like a group of lawyers who are maybe administrative aid types for the justices, but they're the ones that decide which county it goes to. It's not, the defense does not get to pick the county, and the judge and the prosecutor goes along with the defendant. So changing counties is not going to do, it's not going to make a huge difference. And the county that I live in, which is Nez Perce, we just spent $10 million on a brand new courthouse. So it may wind up in my county. They could have me on that jury. I don't think that would happen in a million years, but you just don't know. You know, I said there's a lot of pages about the psychological aspects. There's two different psychologists that were analyzing the information from the survey that the defense put out. I don't think the survey did, I don't think the defense surveyed any other county except Latah County. And they said that 37% of the media reports came from Latah County, when Latah County is only 2.7% of the whole population of Idaho. But, like, just stop and think about it. If you have Nancy Grace reporting, she's going to say reporting from Moscow, Idaho, and Latah County. So that number of reports coming from Latah County is not really a real number. But then there's a couple of pages of, and I think Kohberger is driving this defense. I think he thinks He's the smartest in the room, in the building, in the whole town, in the whole county, in the whole state, in the whole world. But then there's a couple of pages talking about how great Ada County is. They have a newer courthouse, the courtrooms are bigger, that the airport's easier to get in and out of. And she even makes a statement in the motion to change venue that the Moscow Pullman Airport just can't handle the traffic. And I just want to say, really, it's an airport. Of course they can handle the traffic. Ann Taylor, or an assistant of hers, I should say, might have to spend an extra 10 minutes making plane reservations and getting the right connections, and then getting the car rental that they may or may not need. But that's no reason to change this trial. And like I said, the county I live in, we've got a brand new $10 million courthouse, so they can move down here. But she talks about the population and how Ada County is so much more populated. And I don't know who said it. Somebody made a remark about liberal Ada County, and it just cracked me up. The last thing I would label Ada County is liberal. Yes, there's a bigger population in Ada County, but do you know what else there's a large population of in Ada County? That would be LDS members. There's a large population of LDS members in Ada County. And there's no way that there's any liberal people from the LDS community. And I don't know, I really think, I just think it's a mistake to move this trial. I think it's a mistake on Kohberger's part. It's not going to help him. Anyway, I just think, I kind of go back and forth and trying to think what the judge is gonna do, and I wouldn't be surprised either way if the judge grants the motion or if he denies it. The only reason that I have anything that I care one way or the other, if he denies the motion and they stay in Latah County, I would have an opportunity to go to the trial and go there as a spectator and get a seat and all of that. And I would go like early in the morning and camp out if I had to. Me and my, I'm just an old lady with my iPad to take notes. So that's the only reason that I think it's going to be probably a good 2 years. They have a court date set for June of 2025, and I don't think it'll be then. I think it'll be a good 2 years. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to say. Ann Taylor's just so in love with Ada County and thinks that that's a place to have a death trial. Look what they did with Chad Daybell. And on that jury, there were very few LDS. I think there was only like 4 people out of there was like, they started with 20 and I think they ended up with 18 people. And that was a long trial. It was like a 6 to 10 week trial. And they only lost a couple of jurors, and I was surprised there was only 4 LDS members on that jury. So, yeah, she should look at that. Anyway, I just think, and then all of her, the 11 pages of the psychology of everything, that I kind of think that Kohberger wrote that, but, and how, there's just so much information, and it was all on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and all of that. And I didn't know that Ada County didn't get any YouTube or Facebook or TikTok, and that they didn't get any local or national news about this. So I'm kind of surprised by that. But anyway, that's the motion to change the venue. I really want to thank you for watching. I took a drive the other day, and I'm going to do it again, and it turned out really good. The drive from the car that left the house and the cell phone and that were associated with this, and I was talking about it, everything went really good. And then when I got home and checked, it film just shut off, like right in the middle. And what had happened, it turned out it was 108 degrees that day. And I have one of those things that my phone attaches in the car, and my phone got too hot. So I'm lucky that I didn't burn my phone up, I guess. But anyway, I want to thank you for watching. I hope you like this video. I hope you subscribe and leave me a comment. I'm enjoying reading the comments, and go back to some of my older videos. I can't remember right now which one, but there was a woman left me a comment, a really long one, talking about the things that bothered her about this case, and she doesn't believe Kohberger had anything to do with it. And it's really interesting what she had to say. It's worth it to go, and I wish, if I can remember which one it is, I'll post it at the bottom. I'll post how to find this motion to change venue, but also all of the other documents that have been filed in this case. This also has all the documents that were filed in the Daybell case, and there's a couple of other cases going on right now in Idaho, and it has all of that information. But I'll try to post that link on here. Somebody told me that my links weren't working, so I'm not sure what I'm doing, but I'll try. Anyway, guys, I really do. I hope that you like this video, that you comment. Let me know what you're thinking, and please subscribe. I've really been, I love the comments, and like I said, after reading that one woman's comments, and we kind of went back and forth a little bit, it's given me a really good, anyway, it gave me an idea of another video that I want to do. I don't want anybody to think that I'm pro or con, because I am. I would just want to see all the evidence. I want to see what they've got. I don't like the prosecutor. I think he's very unlikable. I don't like Ann Taylor. I don't think I've ever made any bones about that. But, yeah, I think you guys will like what I have to say, and maybe I can do it when it cools down. I'll do that drive that was from the house, and it was the route that was taken that night. And it's just, right now the farmers are harvesting, but part of it's harvested and part of it is just the wheat fields and the uh, wheat. The heads are full, so they're kind of bending over, and it's just really pretty. Anyway, I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.